Hello, my name's Roger Peet. I'm an artist and a printmaker. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I'm here today to talk about my work that's included in this show, which is a artist book called The Smoke Inside. And it is a letterpress printed accordion book that features interviews from three formerly incarcerated wildland firefighters in Oregon. And the book is printed in ink that I made out of trees that were killed in the catastrophic 2020 wildfires in Oregon. So I'm going to share my screen right now and just go through some images of the book and then a couple images of the process. And thanks for following along. Hopefully I can make this work in such a way. Okay, so here is the cover of the book, which is simply some wood type printed in silver ink on some nice dark gray paper. So this is the basic. This is the first page of the book, first spread, and the ink that you see, the two layers of gray, is all printed in this ink that I made out of charcoal from burned trees. And you see on the right page, the first interview with Nathan Mosley. And the way that these interviews worked was my partner, Erica Thomas, and we made connections with this group of formerly incarcerated wildland firefighters who were all sort of part of this makers space in Portland that is called Past Lives. That has a lot of people who were formerly prisoners who are members of it, and it provides former prisoners like space to work on projects and tools to do things with. And we spent like three sessions having conversations with the three people interviewed in this book, Nathan, Adam, and Noel, about their experiences at fighting fire while incarcerated. And I recorded the last session and I edited that interview down to the text that's included in this book. And I hand carved the text out of linoleum and then printed it on a Vandercook 3 letterpress. And you see here that there's two layers. There's the text layer, and then there's also another layer of that's just like a linoleum block outline of the shape of some smoke. So those are it's the same ink, just printed in different densities on top of each other. So and I'll just move along here. So as when I made this book, it was pretty clear to me that I wanted to have only two colors in it, and the colors were gray and orange. And that's because, during the catastrophic fires that happened here in Oregon in 2020, the those were the very much the only two colors you experienced in the city during the course of those fires, because the sun was this like dim orange blob in this orange sky, like coated in haze, and like the gray is the gray of the aftermath of the smoke, the ash, and the burned trees. And when I went out to the forest that had burned to gather the charcoal I used in this, I realized that the 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 black of the charcoal often has a very gray graphite quality to it, which is kind of like pencil lead, which was very interesting and added to the aesthetic of the way the book developed. So this is a section of Noel's testimony, and Noel has a very interesting like narrative experience of her time fighting fire while incarcerated, because she's a woman, and her experience was very distinct from the two men who were fighting fire, and it had a very like a very specific and distinct experience that she had that was different from the men's experience, because the most of the firefighters who were fighting fire are men, but the women's crew has this separate existence that is distinct from the men's. Here's another page that is Adam's testimony, and the overarching theme between the three testimonies of these three people was the tension between the fact of being in prison and the opportunity to fight these fires, which often gave people which gave these people the opportunity to be out of prison in this dangerous environment, but also confronting themselves and confronting the society they were a part of in this process of redemption, but at the same time doing it while being forced to do it. So there's a very interesting like political and personal tension in the experience of fighting fire, being forced to fight fire while you are a prisoner. And of course, for most prisoners, the opportunity to fight fire is much sought after because it's an opportunity to get out of prison, do this work, and also the food is a lot better, apparently. Let's see. So this is the last sort of narrative page from Adam's testimony. Um, and uh, yeah, so it was a really interesting process of like condensing the interviews down to what I thought was the most like salient and chewy parts of the things that they were saying about their experiences, and very profound experiences. They had had a lot of time to think and develop a very interesting understanding of this experience, and it was really very profound experience to have these conversations with these three people. So these are just a few other images at the end of the process. This is like some images of the forest where I went to go and gather the charcoal that was used to print the book. And you know, these fires in 2020 destroyed huge sections of the national forest outside of Portland, Oregon, shrouded the city in smoke for months, very intensely, and caused this conversation about climate change and the way that forests are managed, because a lot of the reasons that the fires propagated so drastically through these forests is because they're managed for industrial timberland, and so the condition that they are in is very dense and very artificial. So the fire is able to move through them at a very rapid rate and destroy them in a rate that in unlogged forests it does not do. Here's just another photo of the following spring, so you can see the regenerative growth on the ground, contrasting with these black trees. You know, and in the Northwest, fire is a part of the natural cycle of life, and it is only because of the artificial removal of fire from these landscapes that these dramatic, like earth-shattering catastrophic fires have been allowed to happen. You know, like in the natural cycle of things, fires burn through these forests more rapidly and more regularly, removing the undergrowth so the fires don't get a chance to be so dramatically destructive. And so what I did with this charcoal is I just scraped off the some from the bark of the trees. I could tell where like the trees had been burned through to the point where there was no woody debris left and it was just charcoal. And I would break that off, put it in a bag, brought it home, put it in a coffee grinder until it was pulverized. And then I basically just mixed it with plate oil, which is a material. It's a liquid linseed oil that printmakers use to thin their inks. And then I applied that to the letterpress. And here's just an image of the ink on a brayer, which is the circular roller that you use to apply ink. And so you can see that there's, even though I've like ground it as fine as I can, there's still a lot of like little flecks and inclusions, which give character to the way that the book looks. It has this sort of particulate quality to it that I think is really interesting and gives the atmosphere of the smoke that it's trying to evoke. And I think that is it. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching my short video, and I hope you enjoy the show. Best to you.